Yeah, Chris Rohaly, my boss from Delphi, and
Hi,
he's
guys.
in Flora, Indiana. And just you want to do a quick introduction of what you do right now with solar energy?
Sure. What we do is we work with people, families, people, businesses, farmers who want to lower their energy bills. So they want to save some money by making their own energy so they don't have to buy as much energy. And that's what we do is we help people do that. We harness with our system. If we put it out where the sun shines on it, it makes its own electricity out of sunlight.
So yeah, Chris, how does sunlight work? What in the sunlight generates the electricity? And what's coming from the
Sun,
sun? Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, I think most of the environmental club has probably played in the hose in the summer, and if you stand in front of the hose and you put your thumb on it, um, that water is going to squirt out really fast, and the faster it's going, the harder it hits you. You can feel it, right? You can feel the water, not only its wetness, but how hard it's hitting you.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, the sun is doing that same thing, only it's not particles that make us wet. It's particles called photons, and they're shooting out from the sun and coming to Earth. And if you're in the shade, there's something that's blocking those photons. But if you're in the sun, if you step out from the shade into the sun, you feel how warm it gets. That's because they're hitting you. There's nothing in between there now. And when those photons hit the solar panel on the face, that's when the solar panel can turn it into energy.
Oh, very cool, Chris. So yeah, that's interesting. And then how much energy is generated? So I see that picture on the wall right there.
Sure, let's look
Of
at that.
Yeah, so that looks like a bunch of panels on the roof, and like compared to a battery or something, how do we know how much energy is actually coming off of something that big that's
Well,
on the roof?
tell you what. So this system.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm pointing to it.
yeah.
That's for a whole house. That system, if the sun were on it on a perfect day, could make 10,000 watts. It could
Whoa.
convert 10,000 watts of sunshine. Now, um, a PS4, a
Ooh,
PS4 will take about 15 watts.
wow.
So what is that? That's about 650 PS4s that system could power up when the sun is on it with no shade.
Wow, that's a lot of PS4s.
That's a lot of
That's
PS4s.
Yeah, that's I don't think I've ever seen that many in all in one place. But oh, that's also interesting. So you made a statement there. That's if it was shining on that all day long, right? If you had perfect sunlight without any shading, any trees, any clouds. So what happens at night, Chris? Like when there's no sunshine, what do we do? Or
Sure.
if there's too many clouds, what do we do?
Well, at night or in the clouds or underneath snow, the sun really can't hit that glass, so there's no way it can make energy. Um,
Yeah.
so the way we connect these systems, they're connected alongside the power from the electric company. So let's just say I've got two wires coming from my system, and I've got two wires coming from the electric company, and because you need two to make a full circuit in and out.
Yeah.
We kind of connect them like this so that if I've got sunshine, the power is going to the house through the top fingers, and
Mhm.
in the dark, the power comes to the house through the other fingers. So if fingers could be wires.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you could send wires or power through your fingers into the house from a different set. And
Exactly.
and then can you send them out too? Can you? So if you have too much
Yes.
energy,
If I have too much energy in the sunshine and I'm not using so much, because I'm sure, like Charles, when you grew up, your mom and dad would say, if you're not watching the TV, turn it off. Why did
yeah,
you leave the door open? We're not having to heat all of Montana.
yeah,
So you're not using energy if you don't need it.
yeah,
But if the sun is out and you're making it, yes. So that energy then, because it's connected to the energy from the electric company, it actually goes backwards out through those wires instead of out into your PS2, PS4. Sorry, it's
ah,
PS5 now, isn't it? I'm
yeah.
behind.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I just built one out of a Raspberry Pi, but that's cool.
Oh,
So yeah, it could come in from the sun to your PS4, or it could come in and you're not using as much, so it could go
exactly
back out
right.
on the lower fingers. And
And when it goes back out, it's on the wires.
yeah,
Most of you might be able to see wires come to your house from a pole on the street. Um, Once that power is out on the wires, well, it goes to your neighbor's PS4,
very
right?
interesting. Yeah.
So they will use that. That's power that doesn't have to be made out of a traditional power plant.
Oh, very cool, Chris. And
Yeah.
then, so I want to ask you now. I like robotics and I love drones. But can you like tell us? So, if one of those panels breaks, and it's all the way up on the roof, what are some ways you can access those panels or check out which panels are like broken or something?
I'm so happy you asked. There's
This wasn't planned.
drones have been used for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and a lot. They're really becoming popular. And what they do is they will fly over the roof. They'll fly up in the sky over the barn, look down at the roof, and they will look with a thermal camera. So they're not looking so much at the light and the colors that we see. They're looking at heat. And most of the problems that we might have with a solar panel on the roof can kind of show up either as too much heat, which means that the panel might be getting ready to break, or it looks cold, which means it's probably not working at all. So if I fly the drone over and I just look at the heat, if it's all one temperature, everything is fine. But generally there will be some hot or cold spots, and then those show up if that camera is good enough. Those show up pretty obviously.
Yeah.
Now, what they don't tell you anything about is the wiring. And I've taken care of a lot of systems, and the wires go underneath the glass, because if the wires were on top, they would make shadows. And where there's a shadow, there's no energy. So we need to put the wires underneath, but then you can't see if there's a problem. So one of the, probably the most common way to break this is the wires break or they burn, which is terrible. You don't want anything burning on your roof. So we've come up with this little device that we hope to be selling here in a couple months. It's a robot that's really short, and it can squeeze underneath the panels on the roof. And we're driving it from the ground, so I don't even have to take my slippery old shoes up on the roof. I can go on the ground and drive my robot under the solar panels and point it where I want to and use the camera to see, is the wire where it should be? Does the wire look healthy? And then I can also switch it in our robot to a thermal version, again, like the drone kind of sort of, and say, does the wire get hot anywhere? Because if you have hot in the wire, that's really bad. That indicates it's probably about to break.
Very cool. So you can take thermal images of the wiring underneath the solar panels. Very cool. And I think you sent us a video, so I'll show everybody the video right after this. So that'll be really fun. And just curious, Chris, how robust are these robots? Have you ever dropped them from like that distance?
We have to drop them from 6 feet tall. That's probably, if I were to stand up, I would have to hold it about my head, and we have to drop it. Now, in real life, we've tested it by driving it around on a roof, and some early mistakes. We actually had one. Oh, I'll send you another video that you can show them maybe too, because it kind of falls off of one level of roof onto a lower level of roof and lands on its side, and then spins down like a snowball off the roof, down to the driveway, across the driveway into the yard. And we don't want to encourage that. Please don't try that at home. But it survived.
Wow. So you've tested it. You've had probably over 6 feet of drop that.
Yes, it was.
Oh, very cool. So, one of the students, one of the audience members may want to grow up and test these devices and drive them off, do some robustness testing.
Sure.
That would be a lot of fun.
And they put your the kids in your class, I'm going to talk
Yeah.
directly to you now, guys. You
Yeah.
are probably all better at driving that remote control than I am. So that's one good thing that comes from a little bit of Minecraft. Not a lot, but a little bit.
So there are benefits to playing Minecraft. That's good to know.
Yeah,
That's good for
if
me.
you look hard, they're there. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, how much does a panel, so they broke that panel, you had to replace something like that. How much does, for the kids, how much does one of those cost right now?
Oh, just the panel without having to drive up there and do it. It's going to sound like a big number.
Yeah.
That was around $300.
Wow. Yeah.
But that's a lot less than it used to be, and it's even getting cheaper.
Well, and then,
Oh.
yeah, I don't even know. I'll have to look up how much a PS4 or a PS5 now is relative to one panel.
Oh, yeah, more. I think it's more than a panel.
So you're providing enough power to power many PS4s, but a PS4 is,
Yeah.
much more than, so interesting.
Then one panel. Okay.
Yeah, then one panel. Awesome, Chris. Any other thoughts you want to share with the kids, or?
Yes. Don't waste your energy. Do what your parents say, right? Keep stuff off when you're not using it, and definitely look at ways to make your own anything. Grow your own food. That's perfect. Make your own energy. You can do it.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome, Chris. Yep.
Thanks,
all right.
guys.